for making time. You're looking good.
I feel good. I feel really good.
Well, let me get to a very serious issue going on right now in Wisconsin. We are seeing a record number of COVID cases, and your own task force is calling for immediate mitigation efforts, things like wearing masks, social distancing, avoiding crowds. And they come with this warning saying, quote, a lack of compliance will lead to preventable deaths. So your own public health experts are saying holding rallies right now is not a good thing. Aren't you sending the wrong message by holding them?
Well, I don't think so, because I'm not a big shutdown believer. And the states that have done the best are, like, if you look at Florida, it had a spike 2 months ago, and now it's at a very low level. Texas, Arizona, they're in great shape. They're doing really well. And we only do the outdoor rallies. I mean, we're doing outdoor rallies. And as an example, we did one yesterday. We did actually 3 yesterday, but they had masks on, largely masks, and some didn't, but they had largely masks, but they were outdoor. So I think having outdoor is a very important thing. If you take a look at your state, which I love very much, and we had a great victory there, but if you take a look at your state, they've been shut down and they've been locked down and locked up, and they've been doing it for a long time. And at some point, you also have to be able to understand the disease. Now, I had it, and I got better very quickly, and most people do. 99.9%, if you look at, pretty much, other than elderly people, but elderly people really specifically with heart or diabetes problems. Diabetes is a tough one, and we protect the elderly, and we're doing an incredible job of it. But Charles, the shutting down of these states is a disaster, because you're creating massive depression, alcoholism. I mean, things are happening with drugs. So that's not the answer.
But Wisconsin is not shut down. It has been open for businesses. But as you look up into Green Bay, Lambeau Field does sit empty on game day. There are no fans, and bars, restaurants, businesses across the state are struggling to stay open. They want a safe way to operate. I know you've pushed hard for vaccines and ventilators, but the criticism has been you didn't get the country to rally around a unified approach to fighting this virus. In fact, one Green Bay critic said it didn't have to be this bad.
Well, nobody could have done better. I can tell you that. We had a little more than 200,000 deaths. They were expecting 2.2 million if we didn't do what we did. The number was going to be 2.2 million deaths. This is all over. If you take a look at Europe right now, the spikes they have, UK, take a look at the spikes. They have massive spikes, and those spikes will go down, but they have massive spikes. We have a number that could have been 2.2 million and could have been substantially more than that. But your schools should be open. They should be open. I mean, your state has been very toughly run, and frankly, it's not doing as well as a lot of other states. And I love your state, and I want your state to do well. And, we have governors running these states. We have supplied them with billions of dollars of material, gowns, ventilators, everything. Now, one of the things that is happening is the vaccines are just about ready to go. They're going to be announcing it very soon, and that's going to have a big impact. And the other thing that's going to have a big impact, Charles, and a very big impact, are the therapeutics, because we have incredible therapeutics. I mean, here I am. I had something that really, I was not feeling too great. And I will tell you, the following day, I was feeling very good. Regeneron in my case. But Eli Lilly makes a great product that's similar. So we have things happening now that you didn't have. Mortality rate at 85%. And our numbers are that. But your particular state has been run very tough.
Well,
and
we
frankly,
have the mask mandate.
There has been job.
There has been a mask mandate requiring people to wear it, but why not just at these rallies tell people, wear the mask, social distance? They'll listen to you.
Well, I had a rally yesterday where I didn't see anybody without one. I mean, and you could see because the people were behind me. And I mean, almost everybody has it. And, we hand them out at the rallies. We give masks to everybody at the rallies. But the rallies, again, are outdoor. And we have heard of no instances where, and I've had big rallies, we're having 35, 40,000 people come at the rallies. And we've had no instance where we have had a problem.
So let me ask you about the economic hardship.
There's a difference. You know that. Outdoor is, they say, I mean,
Well, but even your own health experts say that, avoid crowds and a lack of compliance would lead to preventable deaths. But let me ask you about the economic hardship that has hit so many businesses and the states. The states say they need more money. Taxpayers, Americans say they want more money to help pay the bills. You have put a $1.8 trillion on the table. Will there be more money by Election Day? Do you have a deal?
Well, I want the money by tonight, but Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it because she thinks it's good politically for her not to approve it. And if you look at our numbers nationwide, they've been incredible. You know, we're on a very strong V. The job numbers were up to 11.4 million. It's a record over the last number of months. We're doing, from an economic standpoint, and next year we're going to announce third quarter numbers. I think they're going to be phenomenal, by the way. I think you're going to have perhaps over 25% GDP. Our unemployment numbers, and if you look at the number of people being hired, but Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she wants to bail out poorly run Democrat states. And we don't want to do that.
Republicans are holding back.
I will say this. I don't think she wants to approve it anyway. I think even if we gave her the money for the poorly run Democrat states, I don't think she'd approve it anyway.
But aren't you getting pushback from Senate Republican leaders?
I will take care of that problem in 2 minutes.
So do you think we can have a deal before Election Day?
Look, if I had something that would be good, I think I could quickly convince the Republicans to do it. They're ready to do it. But Nancy Pelosi does not want to do it.
All right, let me ask you.
I wish your governor would call up Nancy Pelosi and say, do it. She wants to hold it till after the election. And I think it's bad for the Democrats.
And Governor Evers,
if they sent a bill over, I am ready, willing, and able. And I wanted a higher number than she wanted.
What's your number?
I'd go higher than her number, and who knows what her number is. But if you said $1.8 trillion, if you said $2 trillion, if you said $2 trillion, too many numbers, I'm willing to go higher than that because it wasn't the people's fault. This whole thing that we talk about was China's fault. They caused this problem, and they're going to pay for this problem.
Let me ask you about systemic racism, which has been a huge issue for decades in Milwaukee for the African American community. Just last year, Milwaukee declared racism as a public health crisis. Do you agree it is a public health crisis?
Well, I don't know in terms of public health crisis. Obviously it exists. It's very sad that it exists. It's a devastating thing that it exists in our country and in other countries, and probably almost every country. And it shouldn't exist. It's a terrible thing. And obviously, I am for getting rid of that problem. But I don't know when you put a definition on it, you can call it what you want. But I do believe it exists, yes.
And do you think you have done enough to address racism in the country and trying to solve this issue? And when it comes to the employment, economy.
Too much.
Huh?
Yeah. I don't know that you can do too much, but I will say this. And I say it all the time, and I don't even get a lot of backbiting on it, okay? I have done more than any president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, having to do with the black community and helping the black community. There's nobody that's got criminal justice reform done. And all of your Democrats that were president before me and all of the people that were here couldn't get it done or even close. I got prison reform. I got opportunity zones done with Tim Scott of South Carolina, great senator. I got all of this stuff done. I funded the historically black colleges and universities, and they couldn't get it done with Obama. They couldn't get it done with Bush. They couldn't get it done with anybody. And you speak to the heads of those schools. Not only did I fund them, I gave them more money than they were looking for. There's nobody that has done more for the black community than President Trump.
Let me ask you one final question. I was with you in the White House when you announced the Foxconn deal, $10 billion investment, up to 13,000 jobs. You came here for the groundbreaking. This was a big deal for you. And Foxconn, by most estimates, has not even come close to meeting expectations. Why? What happened?
Well, I think, number one, you had a pandemic. And I know one thing, that they are looking to come in and they're going to do very big. I know the top person at Foxconn, he actually ran for president, as you know, of Taiwan. I mean, it's one of those things. I guess he took a little time off that didn't work out too well for him, by the way. He didn't make it. But they will do, when I tell them to do, they will do what's supposed to be done. because they did make promises. It's a massive company. They make the phones for, et cetera, for Apple and other companies, a massive company. They will do what has to be done.
Well, why haven't they done what
are going to come through 100%. You know, they have spent a lot of money, and they have. I was at the plant, and it's one of the most incredible plants I've ever seen. But they have been slowed down worldwide by the pandemic.
But even before the pandemic, they did not deliver on the jobs. Last year alone, they did not come even close to meeting the minimum standard to get the tax credits. They are not doing, yes, they're building a building, but they haven't created the job.
If they don't meet the standards, you shouldn't give them the tax credits. But they will end up being a great investment for your state. And they will put up a lot of money. By the way, if I'm president, if Biden's president, nobody's going to do anything. You're going to end up in a depression, okay? He's going to raise your taxes. He's going to put rules and regulations in for these companies that are all going to leave our country. But if that happens, if they start raising taxes, that will be different, because I wouldn't blame them to leave. But if we win the election, Foxconn is going to come in with money like no other company has come into our country. You watch.
And they'll deliver on those 13,000 jobs?
They're going to deliver, yeah. It's not a big deal for them. This company is massive. This company is massive. And I've also seen what they've done. And what they've done is really incredible. But what they have to do is more investment, and they're going to do it. I speak to them. They're going to do it. They're looking forward to do it.
Mr. President, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Charles.